Hi, welcome to the channel. There's lots of long videos out there reviewing the new Tyranid Codex, but I'll tell you everything you need to know in under 5 minutes. The new codex does actually look great, so how about some things of note? It definitely seems strong but not broken at this stage, so that's great news for the edition. It gives a lot of variety to how you play the faction. There's no focus on high fleets though. There's 6 detachments, each with enhancements and 6 stratagems. I don't actually think we need 6 detachments. It actually means there's a lot to remember if you're switching styles. But since there's basically 2 that are the strongest, then that's not that much to remember. And I will talk more in a short while about those strong too. The detachments don't limit the models you play with, just buff certain ones. Data sheets are mainly the same as the index cards, but you will need to write and edit them, which is annoying, but having them not just thrown away is good. Strangely, the Broodlord isn't a Synapse unit, and Gene Stealers have seen a damage output downturn in this codex. Shame, as I was really wanting to see them running across the board. Spore Mine spam for secondaries has been reduced, and the points in the codex are already out of date with a new balanced data slate, and vastly under what they actually should be playing. Now for the faction rules, and these stay the same as the index. For Shadow of the Warp, now the insane bravery strat has been nerfed in the balanced data slate, having a mechanic built around battle shock isn't that bad. Once per battle in any command phase, you can trigger all your opponent's units to take a battle shock test. Your opponent couldn't use insane bravery strat to help this anyway, so it could be used to stop them scoring points or to gain buffs, as there's a number of abilities that get better against battle shock units. The Neuro Tyrant can help out by still making everyone -1 leadership for when you trigger this. And the other main faction rule is Synapse. If your unit is within Synapse, that's within 6 inches of a Synapse unit, then they can roll 3d6 to take battle shock tests, which should mean that you pass it. There are 6 detachments, 2 of which are particularly good. The Invasion Fleet, which is the balanced one we already saw in the index, and is probably still the strongest. And the Vanguard Onslaught, mainly for the new model range, but can be pretty special with lots of infiltration and even turn 1 charging. I'd also mention Crusher Stampede, just because of the fond memories and the fact that I love playing Monster Mash builds. The Synaptic Nexus is interesting. You have 3 buffs that you can give out for the whole army, but that's only 3 turns of buffs in a game. In my opinion, the other 2 just aren't that good. One's for Hordes, and one's for new models called Harvesters. So digging into the best ones, the Invasion Fleet first, possibly the best option with Vanguard Onslaught second. At the start of battle round, pick 1 of 3 buffs for the whole army. You can have sustained hits 1, lethal hits, or precision hits. Getting exploding 60s against infantry is pretty nice, but I think lethal hits really stands out because of the high toughness world we're in. The enhancements are pretty handy, and the auto picks seem to be Adaptive Biology for 25 points. That's a 5+ feel no pain, or if you're injured, a 4+. And perfectly adapted for 15 points. You get a single reroll per turn, particularly useful for rerolling charges or a critical save roll. And of the 6 strats, the best ones are Rapid Regeneration for 1 CP, that's a 5+ feel no pain, or 6+ if you're not Synapse. An Endless Swarm for 1 CP. Regenerate D3+3 Endless Multitude models, and it can be done on 2 units. A great way of grabbing extra space, getting onto objectives, or just move blocking. Now for the Vanguard Onslaught, this is all about the Vanguard Invaders datasheets. And if generally anything has stealth or has wings, but it also includes Gene Stealers. Everyone can fall back and charge, and the Vanguard Invaders can advance and charge. So there's the Gene Stealers with a scout move and advance and charge. This is really nice for threat range, lots of infiltration, lone operatives that can grab your board control and secondary objectives, or jump and get first turn charge. You've got some good enhancements, near and over 30 points. You can redeploy 3 units into reserves after the first turn has been decided. Chameleonic for 15 points, give a character stealth and the benefit of cover. And Stalker for 10 points, pick an enemy unit and get +1 to hit and wound against it. The strats are pretty nice, and the best to feel are Invisible Hunter for 1 CP. Put 1 or 2 units back into reserves at the end of your opponent's turn, which is great for secondary objectives. Seeded Broods for 1 CP, 1 or 2 units in reserves can arrive in turn 1. An Unseen Lurkers for 1 CP, stop your opponent targeting one of your units by gaining Lone Operative. And then there's Crusher Stampede, which isn't as good as you'd hope, but I wanted to talk about it because I love monster builds. And for this, all monsters that are damaged get +1 to hit, and if they're under half strength, they get +1 to wound too. An opponent can mitigate these rules by focus firing down monsters completely, but that might not be effective play for them. It's a shame though that the buffs aren't just always on and are situational. Interestingly, getting a deadly demise within your own lines might not be as bad as you think, as if it tickles a few monsters, essentially they'll all get buffed. The enhancements aren't worth taking, so I won't discuss them. But the strats are excellent and all 1 CP. Corrosive Viscera for 1 CP, auto explode a monster. A massive impact for 1 CP, on charging roll 6d6 and on 4+ deal a mortal wound. There's lots of fun ways to play Tyranids in this codex and some great combos and shenanigans to be had. Watch out for my next video on the codex biggest winners and losers, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!